I hear the word hustler, do you know what comes to my mind? Me, Cheta. Yes. Now, in my early years, I kind of struggled academically. In fact, I wrote WAEC 2 times. Yes. And what this did is that it built some sort of insecurities in me. However, on the bright side, it created a mindset where I felt like if everyone needed to do something once to succeed, I would need to do it at least 10 times more because of my previous experience. From the moment I dropped my pen and signed out from school, I have been hustling till this very day. At this point, I don't think there's any job that I have not done. Sales girl, cleaner, makeup artist, marketer, Icho. In fact, there was a time in my life when I printed my CV into multiple copies. I dragged my sister to do same, and then we'll be going from office to office sharing it as flyers. You can imagine. But did this hustle eventually pay off? I would say yes, and that is why I want to share my story, things I did that were very fruitless, my entire career growth journey, and most importantly, what you should switch up if you want to get that job before 2025 runs out. If this is you, then keep watching. Hello beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, you are welcome. My name is Cheta and I create content in Abuja, Nigeria. You are definitely welcome. Make sure you smash the subscribe button down below so you become one of us, okay? To my returning guys, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for your love and your support. I do not take you guys for granted, okay guys? We're trying to hit 100k, so please subscribe if you have not. And yeah, let's jump straight into why you are here. Guys, where do I even start from? The struggle, the hustle has been real. Anytime I look at myself right now and where I started from, I am just thankful to God for growth and everything that has happened, honestly. And what I want to do in this video is that I want to change the mindset of a lot of people, because it begins with your mind. How desperately do you want that change? How desperately do you want to change that story around? It begins with your mindset. Once you change that mindset, a lot of things will begin to fall in place. And as I share my story and my journey so far, I'll be dropping nuggets so you guys grab your pen so that you are taking notes, because you need that note, okay? Now, my journey started a long time ago. I'm talking about when I was in primary school, secondary school. I used to struggle academically. It's either mathematics, chemistry, physics. I always felt like some courses were, or some subjects at then were very difficult, and this just reflected into my grades. The more I say maths was difficult, the more I failed it. The more I said further maths was difficult, the more I failed it even harder. Yeah, and I carried on that way. In fact, I wrote WAEC 2 times. I failed it the first time and rewrote it the second time, and I know what that did, like how it made me feel. Yeah, however, let's move past that. Now, I studied computer science and information technology, and I felt like I just picked the course because it was just the next available thing. I wanted to study medical related courses like medicine, microbiology, all those things. Now, you know, then it was in folk now, biochemistry. That was what everybody was studying, or engineering. And me, I chose computer science, and I was just like, let me just pick something. Make you know, say I don't study BSc. That's literally how I felt. But then I picked it, and then I started studying. Now, one mistake that I made, and I really, really regret it, at least I no longer regret it right now because I have made up for it over the years, but it is not interning. Like, not choosing the right place to intern. That is what I mean. So when I studied computer science, right, I did intern in INEC. And at the time, I would go to work. I wouldn't learn anything. I would just be watching movies. They'll send me to go and buy bullets, send me to buy granuts. They were just like, I was literally an errand girl. I was not getting any knowledge, nothing. So when we were done with IT and I went back to school and I saw what all my mates were doing, learning networking, learning coding, software development, I was just like, what have I done with my life? What have I done with my life? However, one thing I will say is that when you make a mistake, just tell yourself that I can't make this mistake twice. So one thing I intentionally told myself was that the next job I'm going to get, I'm going to make sure that I can grab and learn as much as I can learn in this job, okay? And I'll get to that very shortly. See, when I was done with my BSc, because I schooled in Enugu State, Nigeria, I moved back to Abuja. And while I was waiting for NYSC to call me, my mom at the time, she noticed that I had a flair for makeup. So she told me, wouldn't you like to learn makeup on a professional level since you love it? Like, And I was like, okay, cool. Then she was like, she told me to find a school. I found a school. I learned makeup, finished just as I graduated makeup school before my actual convocation. Yeah, convocation. My mom died and I was devastated. I didn't even know what to do. I was grieving. I remember I didn't even attend my convocation because I was very heartbroken at the time, because I know the plans I had, and I had, like, guys, it was a lot at the time. But one thing I told myself was that instead of sitting grieving, let me go and like learn something. So at the time, like I said, I finished makeup, but I felt like I could still perfect a few things. I could still do a few things here and there. So I was actively looking for a job until one day I was walking past and I saw this poster. They were looking for a makeup studio was looking for a more like a sales girl, cleaner, and makeup artist all in one. Yeah. And at the time, like I told you guys, I just finished my makeup school. So I had the basic knowledge and idea, and I knew, of course, what it was. So I went into the store. I spoke with the lady. She gave me some tests to do a makeup. I did it, and she said, well, you tried, but there's a lot of change that you can do, but yeah, you can come on board. She offered me 10,000 naira at the time, which was very measly. But I was like, instead of me sitting at home doing nothing till NYSC called me, I'll just do this work. I remember then I would clean, I would do sales girl. I even sold a cricao in her shop. I would do makeup. You guys, I was just doing all I can. Like I told you guys, one learning I picked from my internship when I did my IT was that I was ready to learn everything that is learnable. So I started working there, worked there until NYSC called me. Now when NYSC called me, I went to camp, did all the NYSC stuff now, and then people were like, pray let them post you to a government office. So if they post you to private offices, you will not learn. Me, I was advocating for private offices. Yes, because I wanted to learn. Like I told you guys, I wanted to make up for the IT that I did not do anything. So thankfully, they posted me to this private tech office, and I went there. They interviewed me. I remember flopping so terribly because I knew absolutely nothing. You can't blame me. So I went for the interview. They interviewed me, and then they made me like the community manager. I was juggling between the community manager, customer service rep, marketing, and sales. Yeah, I was doing 4 things for them, but I wasn't complaining. I was ready to take it on because it was an opportunity for me to learn a lot. And I will tell you that that particular organization was the foundation of my growth as an actual human being today, because I was learning marketing. I was learning how to be a sales rep, how to interface, like, you know, all this talk to, like when you're live chatting with a bot. I was doing that for them. I was doing a lot of things. I would be a community manager, act as an administrative officer. I organize a lot of things. I learned a whole lot, and I was thankful to God for that. However, when I was done with my NYSC, they were willing to retain me because, of course, I was very, very, very useful to them. But the problem now was the offer that they were giving me. So they were giving me, at the time, they would usually, when you finish, because they were paying us as core members then 20,000 naira. Then if they wanted to retain you after your NYSC, they'll offer you 40,000. But myself, they offered me 50,000. But me, I just felt like when I'm done with school, I should be aiming for at least 70,000 and above, right? That was far back in 2018, 2019-ish. 2018, let's call it 2018. I was like, it's 70k me I wanted though. People were telling me, are you a dreamer? You want 70k? Nigeria, there's no job. We'll collect the one you saw. We'll collect. I told them, people should leave me. I know my plans and my vision. I know what me and God will have discussed. I'm going to get that 70k job. Now, that was the time this idea came up. At the time, my sister was also done with her master's. So she just came back from her master's. So I told her, let us go and print our CVs. We'll print our CVs in copies. We'll go and be sharing it from office. We'll go to Central Business District in Abuja. We'll go to different ministries. We'll just be sharing it. I can remember vividly. I did that for some time. My sister and my sister even got some connections through that myself as well. I got this marketing job, that was paying me that 70,000. Because like I said, learn to speak what you want into existence. I remember saying I wanted 70k as my first salary after 7, and I did got it. It's only that job was a marketing job with targets, and this target, hey, it took sleep away from my eyes, you guys. I couldn't sleep anymore because of targets. I was literally losing my mind, and honestly, no money is worth my peace. So I did that for a month. I couldn't carry on. I resigned. And then I remember telling myself, okay, Cheta, you've tried sales, you've tried marketing, you've tried customer service, you've tried community management. What next do you want to do? At the time, I realized that I had flair for media. So I was like, let me try out PR, working with a PR firm, maybe being a social media marketer and all of things like that. Because at the time then, when I was working with this organization, where I told you that I learned a lot, it was the foundation. I was also managing their social media accounts. I was doing a lot. So I was exposed to a lot of roles and opportunities that I learned. So I was like, okay, Cheta, you've tried this aspect. Test out PR and see how working in the PR industry will be. So I went and sat down. I remember I would map out a number of PR firms in Abuja. I'll just be sending emails to their info at with my resume and things like that. I did that for like 1 week, and then by the end of the week, one of them just contacted me and said, oh, luckily, as at the time you're sending this, one of our social media managers, in fact, our only social media manager is about leaving, so come on board. I was very excited because that was when I birthed the idea of YouTube. It was around towards the end of 2018. I was very excited. I went there, took on the job, I started learning, and thankfully, one thing about me is that anything I go to do, God just gives me the grace to be able to do it and do it to the best of my ability. I remember then I was managing the social media account for Jai's Bank, and Jai's Bank representative and another company, they were like, who is doing this work? She's so consistent. Or the person is so consistent doing this. I'd love to meet them. They'll come to the office, they'll be like, oh, so you're the face behind all of this. Well done, you're doing great. I was so excited, right? So I started working with this PR firm, and it was going well, going very smoothly, but I still felt like there was a missing piece in my life that I just still needed to fill in. Now, at the time, there was this old schoolmate of mine. We used to work in that same organization that I worked in previously. That was the foundation of everything, right? If there's anything you pick from these guys, don't be scared to try out different, especially when you're pretty young. I was very young. I was just done with school, so I was willing to try out, the PR firm, did it work for me? Try out digital marketing, try out social media marketing, try that, because for the PR firm, I was a digital marketer and social media manager, right? So now I have experience with customer service, marketing, sales, community management, digital marketing, and social media management. So I was like, well, I just want to try something out. There's a missing piece somewhere. Luckily, at the time, one of my former schoolmates reached out to me and said, oh, there's an opening in his office for a QA analyst. And that was the first time in my life I've ever heard anything about quality assurance analyst. I'm like, what is that? Where is it from? Like, tell me more about it. So I went and did my research. I found out that one of the major things they do is to checkmate that a product is meeting the requirements, like they are the quality person, making sure that it is meeting whatever it's supposed to meet. And if there's one thing that happened to me when I was in that same organization that I'll call the foundation of my life, it was a print company. So one thing we used to do is that we'll make sure that the printed design matches the actual printed output, and I was the one in charge of that. So when I saw this quality assurance job and it required that quality check and all of that, I'm like, oh, okay, this is something familiar with me. I don't really know it, but I'm willing to check it out and try it out. It looks interesting. So I applied, went through the whole application process. I did it very nonchalantly, thinking I wouldn't get it. Luckily for me, everything worked out and I got the job. And at the time, so the PR firm, they were owing me some salary here and there. They were just delaying payments. So I just moved to this new job and I started to learn on the job. It was a lot. I learned, I made mistakes. In fact, if I want to talk about my quality assurance growth path, that is a conversation separately on its own, right? But that was where my quality assurance journey began. I started to learn, upgrade myself, get certified, learn and unlearn, grow myself. And today I would proudly say that I am 6 years in, going on my 7th year. If you want my quality assurance story, that one is a different conversation altogether. So just let me know in the comment section and I'll create a separate video where I can share my growth path with regards to that particular career. And now when I started doing quality assurance on its own, I still felt like I needed more. Like I wanted something was still missing in my life. And that's when I realized that I still love the media in some way, but I still didn't want to do it as a full-time job, and YouTube had always been on my mind. So I then actively started doing YouTube. From YouTube, short form content became a thing: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I started delving into all of them. And by God's grace, like I said, anything I find myself in, God just makes it somehow successful that my social media, boom, it just went and took off. It's not where I wanted to be, but definitely not where I started. Brands started reaching out. I started making money off of it, and it became like I now felt like I was where I really wanted to be: quality assurance person and then social media person. And it was just the best handshake that I ever wanted in life. And I'm at a point where I'll say I am career-wise, I know where I want to be. I know what I want to fixate on. I know what I want to build from here. And that has been my journey so far. Like I said, my story is still long when it comes to quality assurance and everything, the whole path. But I'll stop here. And there are some few nuggets I want to drop. And I might have mentioned them before in all of this conversation. But never go to an office space where you are idle. If you are watching this and you are a university student, take advantage of your internship. It is your opportunity to learn. In fact, Nigeria is so competitive right now that take advantage. If you see, when my younger sister come home for holiday, I push her out there. Go and intern, even if it's for a month, 2 months, go and gain any experience you can. So I always advise you, if you're young, pretty young, maybe you're still in your early 20s, mid teens, and or late teens, yeah, I would advise you to intern as much as you can, and you should. And if you by any chance find yourself in an environment where you are idle, sitting down, not doing anything when you're supposed to be doing something, my darling, please leave there. That's one thing I regret. I no longer regret it right now, because I think God has helped me make up for it over the years. But never do it. Please never do it. It is not good for you in any way, shape or form. The next one I'll talk about is never be scared to try different roles, especially when you are still young and upcoming. Try this, try that, until you really find out what sticks for you. You saw my path. I tried social media management, digital marketing, sales. I tried it all. Marketer, online marketer, offline I did it all. I just wanted to try out different career paths and see what really fits. So try out different career paths when you're still young, when you can still make changes and realign, than doing something that you don't really like and then 10 years in you're like, I hate this. Don't do that. Try out different career paths now that you can still make a change, okay? Don't be scared to tell yourself that I want so amount of money and I'm going to get it. You guys heard my story. I told myself when I'm done with school, I am getting nothing less than 70k and above. And did I achieve that? Yes, I did. So don't be scared to tell yourself it's 100k, it's 150k, it's 20k, that's my benchmark, and push for it. The more you tell yourself and the more you put in the work, you'll see the results, okay? Be open to learn and take challenges. Now, if you come to an office space where they're telling you be this, be that, be this, be that, it's telling your early years, don't see it as these people are using me. See it as an opportunity to learn a lot of things. It will come in handy much later. Like you guys heard my story, I was thrown a lot of things at me and I took it on, and it did help build the person that I am today. In fact, it is the foundation of who I am today, okay? Don't be scared to try different approaches. Yes, don't be scared because you're doing only online application doesn't mean you cannot try offline application. Does not mean you cannot try talking to people. It does not mean you cannot try different online sites like LinkedIn, Glassdoor. There's so many. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. Try diversify, try different things. That way you'll be able to do what? Get more fishes from the river, okay? Cast your net into so many rivers. That way you can gather more fish, okay? Don't just do one thing. Try different approach. Try this, try that, try this, try that when you're applying for a job. If you don't do that, you're just fixating yourself in a hole, and it will be a lot harder for you to get a job, okay? And finally, be desperate in a good way. With that desperation, you will see that job happen before 2025 runs out. I know you can do it, okay? Yeah, that's pretty much my pep talk for today. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope this helps somebody, no matter how little, in one way or the other, okay? Before I call it a day, before I share the grades, before I wrap up this video, I try to shout out small YouTubers, small creators in any way I can to help them push, because I know one of the hardest streets to grow on is this YouTube streets, okay? So I try to shout out the little YouTubers that are still upcoming. That is my own quota that I'm giving back to the community, okay? And today's shout out goes to at Odette Bongfen 2942. This is a lot to pronounce. I hope I pronounced it well. She said, hello Cheta, hope you're doing great. Please, I would be more than grateful for the shout out. I'm a single mom of 3 in Dubai. Started my YouTube channel. The struggle is real, but I am not giving up. I'm very grateful already. God bless you. This is the same channel I am using to comment. Okay, so guys, please go and support Odette Bongfen. She's trying. Please help her, support her so that she can grow. Just one subscription from you can do a lot for her. Liking her video, dropping a comment, telling her you're from Chepa's World can do a lot. Do it so that when it's your turn, people can return the favor, okay? Please, guys, I am begging you. And if you want your own shout out in the next video, do let me know the name of your channel and what you do, and you just might be the lucky one to get a shout out, okay? All right, thank you guys so much for watching again. I hope this video was helpful. If it was helpful, let me know in the comment section, okay? Without a lot of yapping, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you guys next week for another maybe pep talk or vlog, okay? See you in my next one. Bye.